Hello everyone, this is Rabab Alma, licensed marriage and family therapist and international life coach. Today's topic is, are you taking the love approach? Please join me, let me know where are you joining me from, which city, what do you think of this topic? I will be sharing this video with my pages. I want to point out that these lives are not meant for professional help or medical help. They are just meant for general info. So I wanted to point this out. And again, let me know where are you joining me from. This topic of approaching things or approaching our tasks or whatever we are doing in life from loving point of view. What do you think of that? I'm going to share this with my other pages. Again, the topic today is, are you approaching your life from a loving perspective? So I want to mention something about me. I did mention in my previous lives that I found waking up early at night before dawn as a way to connect with myself and with my creator. And of course everyone has their own religious belief or spiritual belief, but it's that time of the night of early in the morning that you can have that peace and tranquility, if you will. And I realized when I wake up because I have to, or it's an obligation, then it's heavy. I have some resentment. I feel like I am forced to. But when I changed my mindset that I want to have this loving relationship and connection with my creator, or whoever you believe that it has the higher power, in my case it's my creator, then the whole experience shifted. I was listening to one of the preachers on video, YouTube the other day, and they were saying, if you love someone, then they are in your mind, on your mind all the time. So choose who you love and who's that person or power that's always on your mind. And if you love someone, what would you do for them? What are you willing to do for them? And when I asked myself that question, then my mindset shifted. There is a huge difference when we do something out of love or when we do something out of obligation. When we do something out of obligation, like at least from my experience, it feels like I just want to get it done with. I want it to do because an obligation, I have to do it, and I'm just going to do it. But when it's out of love, there's different experience. There's an enjoyment that it's very special and very unique. There is a very special connection with what you do, whatever you're doing. And this shifted my life throughout the past weeks or months, if you will. And I thought it's worth mentioning. How do we approach things? Do we approach things from a loving perspective? Because if we approach things from a loving perspective, then we're gonna enjoy everything we do, regardless what we're doing. And then happiness then comes from within. It's that joy that we experience within ourselves when we are alone, and we start to actually enjoy being alone. Because you are in a loving state all the time, or most of the time. And you are so in a very unique situation that it's between you and yourself. You don't want to even divulge it to anyone. It's just between you and yourself, and between you and your creator, or wherever you choose to. Then I think the experience of joy and peace at this point can be difficult to explain. It's something very unique. So how do we change our mindset? How do we really explore that, and how we go about it? And I think it's a matter of defining what is the happiness formula that you believe in. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us has their own happiness formula that doesn't apply to other person. So what is your happiness formula? Define it and try to lay it out and see what is it that makes you happy. Because what makes you happy is different than what makes someone else happy. This is number one. Number two is, we want to go over or take an inventory of our own priorities. We want to look at our connecting with ourselves and knowing what is it that makes us happy. We want to look at it with fascination and curiosity instead of judgment. It's like you are fascinated at what you discover about your own self. And that's different than looking at what you do from a place of judgment. A good or bad thing. It's not. This is the way you are. And are you willing to accept the way you are? The way you are. Once you set your priorities, then you will decide how would you utilize your energy. Which people you're going to spend your energy? Who are you going to spend your energy with? And time. So then you're going to be selective. Because you have priorities. You have things to do. And you know that being with certain people can take you on that path, and maybe being with someone else can deter you from that path. So it's now your decision to utilize this energy and your time towards what makes you happy and towards your priorities. Also, you might want to look at what you do on a daily life and think of what is your purpose in your life and your career. It's not about really deciding what you want to do. Maybe it can be part of it, but what is it that you really love to do? What is it that you do and you add value to yourself and to others? Then do more of it. And also, another thing is, it's time to look at the expectations in our relationships. So we are all, no exception, we're starving for connection. We want to connect with people, whether with our family members, to be in love, to be loved. We all want that, no exception. But why are we sometimes, and a lot of times, we are unhappy in our relationships and in our love affairs? And I'm talking about love affairs in terms of like marriage or not, whatever it is, your love connection with people. Why are we unhappy? Because we are defining these relationships from our own internal expectations. And if that person did not meet my expectations, then I am disappointed and I am upset and I am unhappy. Instead, if I am looking at this relationship and looking at it from individual understanding, humanity and compassion. So there's this thing that no one can give you anything if we are unable to access it when we are alone. So how can I ask someone to give me something I am unable to give it to myself? Compassion, understanding, kindness, and love. How can we ask people to give us that when we are unable to give that to ourselves or to others? We can't really ask people to give us that if we are ourselves are not exercising this. Also, we want to look at our anxiety and put it in perspective. So we want to look at, is it really a life-threatening issue that we are worried about, or is it something manageable? I think when we step aside and pause and think of what's happening and see why are we anxious and how can we deal with that and put it in perspective, then we are not as anxious when we look at things objectively. And of course, if we cannot achieve that on our own, we need to reach out, maybe to someone, to a therapist, to a coach, to a mentor, to a peer, whoever. But we need to find that peace. And we need to contain this anxiety inside of us. Also, we want to explore our depression. So we all go through this, sometimes it's depression. And depression is a symptom that instead of looking at it as it's a defect in us, we can look at it as an area of discovery. What is it that our body is telling us or trying to tell us? Where is that sense of helplessness is coming from? When is it coming from? And I think we wanna, if we want to get out of depression, of course, I'm not talking about clinical depression. Clinical depression, you need to seek help. You need to seek professional help. But if we are feeling down, we want to explore what is it that our body is expressing to us. What is it that we need to change? What is it that's causing it? And we need to explore it. And take it seriously. If we are really depressed, we really need to seek help, professional help if needed. But I'm talking about if we feel down, we need to honor this feeling and feel and explore why are we feeling that way. This is actually exercising self-love. One thing also is to look at and to recognize our small addictions. So we all have things that we go to when life gets really too real for us. Some people maybe eat chocolate. I like chocolate. Some people like to eat. Some people like to do some actions or something that they can do when they are stressed out. But the issue is when we continue doing that, even after the adversary, the whatever is happening in our life, are we ready to? Can we stop it? Are we just keep doing what we are doing because it's just comforting without dealing with the real issue? So these little addictions that we don't deal with, and then they exacerbate over time. It's about, are we letting our emotions control us or vice versa? It's about maybe self-discipline. So I think understanding our mindset, understanding ourselves, connecting with ourselves, knowing what is it that's bothering us, instead of just shoving everything under the rug and pretend that we're okay when we are not. So to approach things from a loving perspective is actually to approach ourselves from a loving perspective, to listen to our body, to our mind and our soul. Because if we don't, our body will make us listen very loudly, whether through depression, anxiety, sickness, addiction, panic attacks. And one thing, when we are younger, when you're in our 20s, sometimes we can take certain pressures or take certain stressful situations, for instance. But the older we get, our body does not want to take this nonsense. Our body will tell us, enough is enough. I don't want to take that. I don't want to deal with that anymore. You need to do something about it. And if we don't listen to our body, our soul, and our spirit and our mind, then our body will scream at us in a way that sometimes it's not pleasant. So I think exercising love and approaching things from a loving perspective, dealing with things with a sense of compassion, kindness, first towards ourselves, will make a difference. Reaching out for help is an act of kindness and compassion towards ourselves. We don't want to wait until things are really complicated and really deep. We take things seriously. We take the signs seriously. We feel that something is going on and we need to address it. We don't wait until we really have some kind of big problem or it's getting complicated. It's like when we are sick. Do we wait until if something is happening in our body until it's really, if we have an infection, we just wait and we don't go to a doctor until it's really bad? I think we need to give our mind and spirit and our hearts the same attention. We need to be ready to listen. And if we cannot give a listening ear to our own selves, how can we give a listening ear to someone else? Some people claim that they put everybody else ahead of themselves. Yeah, you can do that for a certain period of time, but then your body will not take it anymore. Because you cannot give from an empty bucket. We have to fill our bucket with love and compassion and kindness to be able to give it out. And we need to surround ourselves with people who give us back also. So our bucket is always being filled by ourselves and by our surroundings. So let me know, what do you think of this topic? Approaching life and things in your life from a loving approach. What do you think of that? Does that make sense? Do you agree with that? Or you don't? That's perfectly fine. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit like and share it. I will also download it on YouTube. You can watch it there and you can subscribe. If you would like to contact me, you can contact me via my website, rababalma.com, also via my Facebook page. Final thought, be sure to take care of yourself. Always. And it's not selfish. Oh no, let me correct that. It's okay to be selfish. It's not okay to be self-centered. Selfish in a way that you take care of yourself. You state what you need and what you want at the time for you to be able to take care of others. Again, put your mask first, then you put it for help someone else. Because if you don't put your mask first, then you're gonna collapse. So take care of yourself. I always advocate for taking care of oneself, because if we don't do it for ourselves, no one will. Thank you for watching. Again, if you like this video, hit like and share it. And I wish you a wonderful evening. Until I see you next time, stay blessed and loved. Thank you.